So here we are today, and what we wanted to just have an open discussion about is raising children as Black women in America. And this isn't even specifically about being a single Black parent, which I'm a single Black parent, and I raised 4 young men, and they cute, but cute don't matter, you know, when you're a species that's ostracized. And I had to learn that. So, you know, when Tanya called and said, hey, I want to change the format, like sometimes I let her boss me. So, I mean, I wouldn't have went against the grain if she wanted to talk about, you know, the circus, or she wanted to talk about Nikes over Puma, or vice versa. But today, I was absolutely like ready. And then we're getting content all day to build from. Like if we just sit still, one of her kids will show us, well, not that she had a lot of kids, but you know, Kenny or Zion will just show us a new video, and is this something else to build off of? But it's serious. And so I understood her passion and her being an educator and then an administrator. Like those things are close to her heart, because I know she be looking mean sometimes. Like you all see it. Sometimes she be looking mean and she be all sassy at the lips, but she loves the kids. And I don't. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, not only do I love the kids, but I also love our Black men as well. And it's a shame how consistently we see on the news, or just me working in certain neighborhoods, I see how they are affected by the police and judged just based off their appearance of sagging jeans, dreadlocks, things like that. Even to where I've worked in Cook County Jail, and I was able to see how sheriffs or the administrators in the building treated the inmates. And just a lot of times it became a struggle for me, because I'm like, well, dang, how can you treat someone so unfair if you're saying you're trying to rehabilitate them or help them or whatever? Or if they're a kid, how you not showing them an example on how to be an adult if you're going to treat them the way that you do treat them? So today I really wanted us just to talk about the effects of what happened these past 3 weeks, because it's been 3 different murders going on. We have a jogger that died. Then we have someone whose knee, who a police officer put a knee in the back of his neck and killed him, and now they're sitting up here saying that he was on drugs and had other underlying health issues. When, yeah, the underlying health issue was he was lying under somebody's knee. That's what it was. So I just want to talk about the effects that it's bringing on in our community, why a lot of people are complaining about the looting and the tearing up of businesses and things like that. And then also raising kids in this type of environment. Everyone knows that my kids live in the city on the east side where it's crazy, but they're the most suburbanite kids that never lived in the suburbs at all. So, Nikki, you got 4 boys.
It's a lot. Like,
how does it affect you? How do you feel like the environment affects you?
you know, I went to a dinner, and while we were at this dinner, it was the forum is put together by a young woman who has a business group where she brings entrepreneurs together. She brings business owners together. And so I have been afforded the luxury of sitting at a table that was that's diverse, but there have been times when I really have been the sum total of the diversity at the table in terms of ethnicity. Now, income backgrounds, of course, the diversity would be there, but this one particular time, you know, I think I was the only African American at the table, and there were like 16 of us. The dinner's always great. The format is always wonderful, because I never walk away empty-handed. One of the exercises called for us to like figure out the things that we say that stir us up and change the environment. Like I don't remember it specifically, but what happened during the exercise was she asked a question like, name something that you always say to your relatives, and then the next column was like, and then how do they respond, and then how does that make you feel? Why do you feel that way? Because the root of it is to get you into a place where you stop complaining about how other people are making you feel and figure out if you're being a victim in the situation or the hero in the situation. So cool, we did that. So we're all at the table and it's like 8 women on this side, 8 women on this side, and it was like the facilitator was at the end. So like I love to engage in those environments with the speaker because oftentimes some of the other participants don't. And you never want to feel like you're on an island all by yourself when you came to teach or to give something of yourself, right? So she sat there, she asked a question, and I'm like, ooh. Let me see what happened. So the question that I circled was, I know that I'm getting long-winded and you can edit it if you need to, but okay. The question I circled was, one thing that I always found myself saying is, y'all never listen. So I'm saying this to them, and so I jump in and out of my good vernacular when I'm in spaces where there's cultural diversity at the table, because I really can only be professional for so long because I'm hood a little bit, like it's deep on the inside of me, it'll just bubble up over time. And I had been there for like an hour. Okay, so I'm like, okay, I have something to say. And so she was like, what? Okay, so what was your first answer? It was, you all never listen. And so then she wanted an example. And I'm like, ooh, I have an example. And so I go, this was in January. So I said, so my kids, I have 3 grown kids. I'm telling this to them. I'm like, I have 3 grown sons, like good vernacular. I'm gonna tell you how it went. I have 3 grown sons. I have a 25-year-old, I have a 22-year-old, and I have a 19-year-old son. And I have a 20-year-old nephew. So this is how this works in my household. I say, you all never listen, specifically when they leave the house with their hoods on. So that they buy hooded sweatshirts, right? Because they like hooded sweatshirts, because the stores sell hooded sweatshirts and they like them. So they buy them. And my children buy these sweatshirts, they wear them outside, but every time they hit the door, I stop them. Wait, take that hood off. This is every day. And then they'll come back in the house with their hoods on. One day, I left out with one of the kids to go to the store. They were driving. I'm a passenger. We get to the store. He had his hood off because I was with him. He gets out the car and immediately throws his hood on. And I'm like, wait. And he just looked back at me, turned his nose up, and kept walking. I understood, and so I'm telling this, I understood where it comes from because it's his hoodie. If you want to wear it tied around his neck, he should be able to. But every day I'm saying to him, y'all just don't listen, because they don't listen. But I get so frustrated. But that frustration is rooted in a fear. Now, these are the things that began to unfold while I'm at this table with them.
We'll call that the Trayvon Martin syndrome.
So I needed them to understand that as a Black mother, I suffer from PTSD based on these experiences. And it's a visceral response because I feel it coursing through my veins because they don't listen. Like, y'all don't listen. So back to this table. So I'm like, and so they'll leave out, and then he looked back, his nose was turned up, and I sat there. This is the last time because it just happened. I said, just don't listen. I have to be mindful about what comes out of my mouth because I know that the power of life and death is in the tongue. This is true. Like, we'll go Bible with that. The power of life and death is in the tongue. So I pay attention to what I say. So I'll just like stop it there if they just don't listen. I don't go into because if this happens or that happens. But the statement alone is harboring that sentiment and the passion that I have in my, because I get so mad. And so that was the end of me telling that story. So then I go into the rest of the exercise because I understood the exercise. The other women were looking like, I don't really know how to fill out this form. Gee, like just use your personal, ain't no going in your life when you saying this stuff. Okay, so let me help you out here. I say to them, when I say this to them, their response to me is, but it's my shirt. I wear my hood because it's my shirt. And I tell them, listen, I am a Black woman. I can be in a store. I don't care what color you are. If you walk in the store with your hood on, I'm instantly, where's the exit? Who is what? Who they come in here with? I'm looking because I don't trust, I don't trust whatever ethnicity you are. You walk inside a place with your hood on.
Right, no matter.
It's not about like profiling Black people. I just profile hood wearers these days, but that's not the case with everybody. And so we have this conversation, and I explain to them the thing that I say. I explain to them my son's response. Then I go into why I'm so passionate about it? Why do I feel like a victim? Because for me to say, they just don't listen to me. Like, I would be balled up like a little hype. That's a drug addict. I was balled up like a little hype, like, they just not listening. But why do you feel that way? So she asked me, she was like, and why do you feel that way? And I said, well, it's because I'm afraid that somebody will see them and misunderstand that all they want to do is get their snacks and come back home and finish playing the game. Like, that's what they're going to do from 25 on down. I said, but I know this about them. I know how I feel when I pull up on them. I pulled up on them at a red light, my own kids. And I'm like, ooh, they look scary. They're not going to bust a grape in, well, they will bust a grape in a food fight. You know, but the thing about it is, I'm telling them this story, and I'm so passionate about it because I really have it's rooted in fear. Like, we never want to say we're scared of nothing because you have never been afforded the luxury of really being afraid. If somebody kicked your back door in, you are not going to sit in your room and shiver. You're going to look for a heel. You're going to grab that gapper. You're going to get your whatever you got in that room, and you need to go figure out what's happening. So we've never been afraid. It's the same with me. The luxury of being afraid when your back is against the wall. Fear may grip you and engulf you, but you can't be scared. You know, you can't allow it to paralyze you. That's still never, so I never want to say like, oh, I'm scared they're not going to make it home, but I'm scared they're not going to make it home every day that I say it. I don't want somebody chasing you, following you, you know, patting you down, checking your car. Like, I don't want that for you. Like, because sometimes, even if they don't find nothing, they'll say that they found something, and I know you ain't did nothing. Like, you charming as hell to me. They don't care about you.
And then that's the thing, too, with our kids, because they are different type of kids. They're not street kids. So they got flip mouths like us, and a police officer would take that different. Oh, you getting smart with me.
Yeah.
Oh, you're an uppity nigga. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that'll be they haven't did anything wrong, don't have a record or nothing. Because Kenny starting a job and want to walk down to the train and this, that, and the third. I'm like, you can't walk to the train. Yeah. But he want to walk, so it's just like, damn, he's 21, walk, but what can you do? But I know that how his face turns up when somebody say something to him. You know what I'm saying? So then he go, please pull his ass over. What's gonna happen? He gonna look at them like, the fuck? What? Because he always got an agitated look on his face. You know what I'm saying? And him not ever been having to come to play with a police officer, that can turn the wrong way. The wrong way.
I just got popular. You write my story up?
Yeah.
Because, girl, at the end, so they're like, oh, yay, like she speaks well.
The token.
So they were like, thank you, thank you for sharing. Because, I just shared my sentiment. I had to come to the realization that I'm taking it personal when I have to respect their right to wear their clothes, period. And I have to believe that nothing will happen. Like, I cannot be engulfed by fear, because fear is being afraid that something that happens 15% of the time. 85% of the time, the possibility of it happening is zero. But that other 15% of the time, that 50% of the time is the difference between me having 4 sons or 3. You know what I mean? Like, those are not odds that I want to play with. So when we were done, this is the capper for me of that moment. So I shared it. When we were done, there was a woman who has a raw foods company, and she comes and she was like, "Hey Nicole, it was so nice to meet you, and I appreciate you sharing your transparency." Because my son, now this woman was of Indian descent. She said, because my son went into a convenience store in our neighborhood, and there were like a group of teenagers, but it was just him and his friend that's African American. They were a part of the group, and she said, and the security guard stopped them and began to harass them. And my son said, but Mom, I didn't understand. Like, well, why? So I'm thinking, oh wow, so yeah, it's happened because he got a brown face. Boy, he got a brown face. This is what I'm thinking. And she said, so I told him, well, that's just what's happening, and so on and so forth. And he was like, no, but Mom, I need you to help me understand, why did they say it? Why did he say that to me? And so she was like, well, I can't explain to this world we live in. And so she looks to me and says, can you tell me what to tell him? Can you tell me, how do I explain that to him? And I said, I don't understand what you're saying. I said, well, I said, maybe it happened so that he can understand what his black friend goes through on a daily basis. And she stopped me and she said, no. She said, he was asking me, he understood why the cop harassed his black friend, because cops always harass the black friend.
Oh,
but
wow.
I'm Indian. Like, bro, what's going on here?
I got a little privilege, a little better.
So I told her, I said, and when I realized she was just asking me to give her advice for him, because mentally he had separated himself. Like, that's a black problem, and I don't understand why I had to experience a black problem. Like when I got that, that's where we were, and I said, you know, it's just, I said, just imagine. I said, all you can do, I said, if that's the case, you know, all you can do is just go home and tell him you don't know why. I said, because for 25 years, that's all the answer that I have. I don't know why. Like, it ain't no, oh, people are just like, I don't know why they hate you. I don't know why they're that afraid of you. I don't know why they're that scared of what you might become. I don't know why. I don't know. That, as a mother, I need you to go home and just say, I don't know. And understand how that feels. I felt that for 25 years, and it's every day for me. And so, yeah, welcome to my world. Sorry. Like, that's all the advice I have for her. I don't understand. It's not for me to try to understand, because that I feel like that's making me sympathize with them. When take my color out of it and just be human, because you wouldn't let me stomp the shit out of a chihuahua.
Hello.
Would you let me grab a cat? But tell me who will let me grab a cat by the scruff of its neck from the first floor and drop it to the ground? And I say nothing, because y'all grab our black men, our black boys by the scruffs of the neck and drop them to the ground every day. And nobody is understanding that it is the post-traumatic stress disorder that is widespread. And yes, there is a ton of violence going on in the city. And when the time comes, I'll drag their ass in the mud too, because it don't make sense. Like, they got a dragging coming. But just because we do kill each other, and that our black boys kill each other every day, and it's not just about, it's far less about money than it was when we were coming up.
Yes.
But let me tell you something. They bogus as hell. Yeah, they bogus as hell. That's how you know I come from the city.
But yeah, they're bogus as hell, but it's all because of PTSD.
We have, yes, it's a big
that's big in our community. We can talk about that before we end, but that's big, and it needs to be treated. And I feel like that requires some social security benefits too.
Well, you know, I feel like people who went to jail, guys who go to jail for murder, their kids should get social security benefits. Like, I mean, not murder, but who go to jail for life. I feel like that kid should get social security benefits. I always felt like that.
Yeah. Well, because my kids really don't go out and about without me, even the grown ones, besides Janae, and you know she's a whole different.
Don't you do her?
She's a whole different breed.
Don't do Janae.
But my experience dealing with racial issues, like I said, comes from working with Chicago Public Schools, and also working in the Cook County Jail. And I've had issues with the deputy director when I was working in the county jail, because how the men in the jail listened to me more than they listened to him. And he had an issue with that. A very, very big issue with it. Like, it came to the point where he told my black boss, male boss, that if he brought me back to work on a new contract, he wasn't going to give him a contract. Because see, when Latanya walked in the building, I don't know what it is, but I become a great friend to black men and to the youth. That's my gift. I got that gift. That's just what I got, you know. For some reason, I sympathize with them, but I don't sympathize with them in a way that belittles them. I sympathize with them in a way to build them up. And they recognize that. They'll sit there and tell me their whole life story. They were sitting in the jail talking about, fuck my mama, fuck that bitch, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Not you, Ms. Dito. Not you. And then I'm like, but why would you say that? Well, because I'm only in here because my mama said I had to sell drugs. I mean, I had to pay rent. And, you know, how else was I going to pay rent? I'm 17 years old. What job I'm finna get to help her pay rent? So I'm here because of that, you know. So they had a lot of issues going on at home that caused them not to like women, but they fucked with me. So I'm coming in at a certain time to get them, and the director's sitting there talking to all of them. They see me, they popping up out their seats. Sit down. They was like, man, fuck you. We going with Miss D. Sit down. White man turning red, shaking. angry. Man, we go on this deep. I said sit down. They still moving, coming towards me. I said, no, y'all go sit down. Wait till you're done. About face and went and sat down. You know how angry that white man was? He called me to his office and started telling me how privileged of a white man he was. And how he was raised and they had boat houses and da-da-da. And I'm sitting here like, what does this have to do with anything? But he really wanted to show me that he wanted to show me that he thought he was better than me. And how dare you come up in here and run this jail? And how dare they look, I control them. He would come in my classroom and I would have different books, Malcolm X, and I had all types of books talking about changing your mental state, how you're thinking about, how to study about your crimes, things like that. Because I told him, how y'all gonna go and do a crime and don't even know what time you can get behind it? Like, I would actually sit there and have conversations with them about that, you know. And he came in, he'll pick up my books and throw them across. I'm like, why you do that? Oh, I didn't mean to do that, Miss Darden. I didn't mean to do that. And then call me down to his office so he can give me a verbal whooping and warning to let me know, I run this shit, you don't run this shit. So I stayed at the juvenile detention center going to court for many of my kids, males and females. Because there's a lot of trauma that's associated with the ghetto, with the hood. And all you gotta do, if you really want to work with kids, you gotta have that compassion.
And let them talk.
And let them talk and let them be them, let them feel comfortable.
They say that riots are the response of the voice of the unheard, something like that. I think that's not the quote verbatim,
right?
But that is my summation of a quote by Dr. King. And just listen to them, you know. And the funny thing about it is, kids outside of us, our own kids, not so much, but kids outside of our households, like they hang on your every word. Like all of my boys played sports, and so, you know, I understand what's going on with them. I listen to their music, and so even with the things that are happening now, what's hard is the devastation and the drama and the intensity and the opportunity for even greater harm to be done to them. But their passions are so high, and you can't act like you don't understand that. Like if you don't understand why they mad, you need to take a whole bunch of naps. And you need to just take a whole bunch of naps and don't get up. And you know, I don't know what else to say, because all they want is for you to hear them. Let me tell you what, because I went back to school to get my degree in psychology, specifically because I felt like having a degree in psychology would be a benefit to the body of Christ. And so I had made this decision after this affinity that I had acquired for the young men who rap in the city. You know, because I got bars, I still got bars, but I understand their voice. So I would hear them when they would, but what happened was I would watch the videos. So I would watch the videos and I would hear what they're saying, because I'm a lyricist. So what they're saying in the words, even once I got over the not appreciating the cadence, right? Or even their schemes, or how simplistic it would seem sometimes. But I got into the music. And what I would see is, like, I would see them all, like I would be watching a Lil Reese video or a Chief Keef video, and what they would say about girls is all they want is some head. But they all would be in this big group with no t-shirts on, with their friends, hugging their friends, like they would be getting live, but they would be hugging each other.
Right.
I didn't think that it's because they didn't love women, or I didn't think that it's because they were gay. I never thought that. What I always felt was that the reason why is so many guns in the videos, the reason why they're so passionate about their brothers, like they disregard women, they don't want the intimacy of being with a woman, because you can't trust a woman the way that you can trust your brothers. And so I began to build this theory about the city, and about how the only way that they're going to drill down to the to the violence in the city, they have to have everybody tested for post-traumatic stress disorder and then provide treatment for it. Because if you ask any of these young men, so for me, it started with the rappers. When you listen to the music, they never got over the first time they lost a friend.
Hello.
And that's the root to a lot of the violence that's still going on today in the city. But I love them, like when I see them, because I see my son, I literally see in the videos boys that they play ball with, that they hoop with, that they play football with. Like I see them, but I understand their pain because, you know, I hear the stories coming in. You could see it in the video. You watch their interviews, like you see it. And if you cannot understand the loss, then you need to just take a whole bunch of naps and then don't wake up until you get it. You know, and so I began to understand that these young men want to be connected to their brothers, which is why they're not uncomfortable being in these videos shirtless, chest to chest and arm to arm. I know they probably was sweaty and musty, but that's another thing. Whatever. Just because, you know, right, but you know, just because I got boys and they play sports, so I know what that environment would be like. But it's the post-traumatic stress disorder. It's not that the first thing that came to me is that it's not that they don't love girls, or it's not that they don't love women, but they don't want to deal with the intimacy
and they don't
of them to lose their brother. They're more concerned about that because the girls are gonna be there. But this my brother, like I got him. So when you would just listen, you know, when you would listen to them, and when you would quote the lyrics, I pay attention to it. So, you know, I listen to Duck. Like Duck is one of my favorites. So I love Duck and I love Dirk and I love Von. Like I love all of them. I listen to them. I listen to Young. I listen to them. But when you listen to the lyrics, like it's so fucking sad that all they want is to be understood. And if you don't understand them, then you cannot get in. If you don't know their language, if you're not even trying to learn their language, they not gonna let you in. But I'm gonna tell you what, when they will get somebody's attention. So they constantly tell me, hey, I need some help. You ain't helping them. But as soon as they burn the building down, as soon as they come and rob a store, now you want to give them help. I'm not saying that burning the building down is good or that it's right. I'm saying it. But I'm saying, but I was trying to say to you that I was hungry. I've even considered almost having like a witness protection program for guys who want to get away. You think that they want to keep coming back? As soon as they get into an electrician program, they still got to go back to the hood every day. Their baby mama looking at them like, I know you're gonna make it real big. She still need Pampers. He still need Pampers. How you gonna get to work tomorrow? How you gonna get to school tomorrow? And so there are programs that are out there, but we have to get to them. I wouldn't be
not enough.
I wouldn't be no kind of scared to walk in the middle of a crowd full of niggas sitting on a corner if I want to talk to them. I do it all the time. I do it all the time because I'll be like, hey, come here. Why you just gotta do it?
But you know, that's how my original job started off at CPS. If we see kids, they look like they were school age. I have to be like, why you not in school? Stop it. I used to go in houses at 11 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, laying everywhere, couch floor, pallets, all that. And I'm like, why are you not in school? And it surprised my boss at that time because he's like, you be bringing whole families up here. Because they done called me in the kitchen, frying bacon and eggs. You want to eat, Miss D? You crazy? Because I'm going to go in there, I'm going to make them feel comfortable. I'm not going in with my nose. Yeah, I'm not judging. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just stepping over bodies. And what you doing? How old are you? I'm doing the whole night. I treat everybody like they my kids. I'm even gonna pop you. But I had one instance, a guy that was working for me, he was dealing with a student, and you know, some men, y'all be getting all macho, like, you gonna listen to what the fuck I say. It don't, first off, the youth that we dealing with, the only interaction that they have in the street with a man is the police. Because a lot of them come from broken homes. There's not a man in the house. They dead either locked up or he dead, or on drugs. So you come in thinking you better than them, talking down to them. What you think that's gonna happen when you sitting up there talking? Because I said so. And you know what that boy did when he left up out of there that day when dude was trying to get macho? Came back with his uncles and them was ready to be dude ass. I had to save him. And I keep telling you cannot talk to people like they're your kids. You can't. Everybody can't do Latanya Darden. Everybody can't do that because I don't do it in a way that's offensive to them. I do it in a way like I'm their mama, their auntie, like that, you know. Come here, bring your little dust ass. That's just how I talk. Everybody ugly. Ain't nobody cute around this motherfucker. That's just how I am, and they know that I do it from
a good place.
Yeah, a good place. And then I'm gonna cuss you out and then come on, what you want to eat? That's just how I've always been.
You'll bring them some t-shirts and underwear the next day,
Yeah.
and don't nobody know that you did it. Right.
And it's no one's business. And that's the problem that I have with a lot of adults. They don't work with kids to understand them. They work with them like they really treat it like it's just a job. And I think certain positions shouldn't be where you're just coming there and treating it like it's just a job. With our youth, this generation, we have to go in with compassion. We can't go in with our nose up talking about our degrees. They don't give a fuck about a degree. They don't even know what they're gonna lay at tonight. You know, and all that do is that breeds animosity, that breeds hatred, that breeds all of this violence that's going on. And we had a student that committed suicide. And to this day, we don't know if it really happened or if somebody did it to him in the bedroom. We really don't know, but he committed suicide. And he was main one all on social media with guns and everything. And it's like, and that's, so many kids came up there to the building crying their heart out about him. And it's just sad. And it's like from that day on, everybody is sad. And every time a kid dies that has a close friend next to him, they're scared. I had a student come up there with a gun. A Hispanic student come up there with a gun. A little white boy told on him though. He made sure he told on him. And I got him out the classroom.
I bet you ain't turned him in to the police.
I had to.
Oh, did you?
I had, because he bragged. This is why I had to.
Wait, because I was about to say snitches get stitches. Okay, I'm going to listen to the rest.
No, I had to because, first off, I have a whole class full of students, every nationality you could think of.
Oh, you didn't want a favoritism.
He was Hispanic, and the boy who told on him was white. And this white boy was all the way from up north. So there was no way, and I had to. And then the student was special ed. And the reason, I know he didn't bring that gun up there to hurt anybody.
It was to
I
show
know
them.
But you know why? Because they were allowing the students in there to discuss guns and pull up gun videos and rap videos showing guns. So he was like, he wanted to join in like, hey, you know, but because I have to be mindful of the company, everybody that's in the room, I can't say, what the.
So I was thinking that, okay, because
No.
I was thinking that, like, if it was something that he had it hidden.
No, he pulled it out and showed the class.
Okay, but honestly, if it was hidden and the boy saw it went off and he wasn't brazen, would you have told on him?
But see, then I wouldn't have known if it was hidden.
No, I'm saying if the young man who saw the gun saw it hiding, you know what I'm saying? Like if he just didn't flash it, would you have told on him? Hell no.
I can't say that because based off of who that student was, he really was delayed. I had to find out first what was going on with him, if he had issues or whatever. And see, I couldn't talk to him. I had to look at I'm in a building. We rent this space from CPS. You know, I got 20-some kids in the room. I'm not in there. That's not my classroom. I'm not running the classroom. I don't know everything that's going on in there, but I do know that I told them to stop allowing them to discuss gangs. Stop talking about guns. Stop showing gun videos. I know all that. Then I also know we got kids that want to impress people. It's not just boys in there. It's girls. Yeah, because I had to think immediately, and he already had gun cases. So
okay.
Yeah, it's a case by case thing. But when you're dealing with a group of students like that, students, it's not my own private program. It's not I'm this CPS. I had one student come in and do I did a regular routine that day. I didn't alert nobody but the people that needed to know, and that was his specialist and the person that was in the classroom. I had already called the police and told them, and I told the people downstairs, when they get here, send them directly to my office. I had the boy send them off, and he was cool, me and him. I'm chilling, even though I know he got a gun on him. So I'm talking to him. I said, will you be here tomorrow or whatever? No, I got to go to court. I said, what's your court case about? I pulled his photo. He was like, I had a gun charge. I said, you done messing with guns? He said, yeah, Ms. D, I'm done. I said, you sure? He's like, yeah. I said, what you going to court for tomorrow? Oh, it's just a continuous. I was like, okay, well, make sure. So then I get a knock on my door because I kept my door closed. Because, see, I didn't want him to see them walking up. And when he walked, when I was like, I don't know who was sitting across from me. I said, open the door, get the door for me. He opened the door up and he saw the police. And I said, what's wrong with you? And they was like, can we talk to you for a minute? No, you can't talk to me. I said, hey, why are you talking to them like that? And he looking at me like, no, I was just saying, I don't want to talk to them. I was like, but why are you talking to them like that? Did they say something disrespectful? He was like, no. I was like, okay, then don't talk to them like that. You got me nervous. Is this something I should know? Because I'm still playing him like I don't know. No, Ms. D, no. They was like, we just want to talk to you for a second. And then he was like, can you step out? I was like, well, you can go in my office. I have another office right next door. You can go in there. He got up, went in there. They started asking him, do you have any guns or anything on you? He was like, no. You sure? Can we check you? He was like, yeah. He had dropped it down his pants leg. He had a rubber band at the end of his pants and had dropped the gun in there. And they came in there with the gun like this and set it on my desk. And they arrested him. And I was like, why would you bring a gun here? And he said, because when I'm traveling on my bike through Humboldt Park, I'm scared they're going to kill me. I said, well, we just sat here and talked about it. He was like, I'm sorry.
So how do you feel then when you hear people say the police, like how can we be so enraged about the police and what they do, and we don't have the same energy for blacks killing blacks, or we don't do the same thing, have that same response when.
But this is the difference between the police and killing our people, and then he was Hispanic, so you never hear. The problem that I have with this black on black crime thing is you're only going to have crime in your community. It's going to be against the people that you live next door to in your community. So we live in a fucking all black neighborhood. But why we don't hear Asian and Asian on crime? White on white crime? Mexican on Mexican crime? Puerto Rican on, why we don't hear that? Why is the crime that's committed between us always put on us when it's happening everywhere else? That's the problem that I have. And of course we're going to commit crimes against each other because we live next door to each other. We live in the same neighborhood. Who travels outside their neighborhood to do bogus shit all the time, 24? Nobody. Nobody but the cops. See, they can come into our neighborhood and do whatever they want and then go back home and sleep good at night. And not every cop. Because I ain't gonna tell you about the 5 that chased me into my garage.
What?
So because I would not talk to my ex anymore, he reported my truck stolen. And I was pulled over by the police on the west side of Chicago. And when we found out, luckily I got a female cop. And I had all of his messages in my phone when she was like, Blase Skippy reported it, take the keys out, put your hand. And I'm like, what? I got my phone, I gave my phone to her, and I let her read everything. And she was like, oh my God. And then she's like, he filed a false report. So she was like, how can we contact him now? Because the only thing he had on there was, if you find a truck, call me. It wasn't no, oh my God, she stole my truck, arrest that bitch, because it wasn't. And the reason why I was even still in his name, because when we used to live together a long time ago from the parking lot, and we never got it switched over. When I tried to get it back switched over, he wouldn't let me. It was always, I love you, jumping in the car with me and stuff, so I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. Fuck it, whatever. You want to keep it in your name, keep it in your name. But everybody knew that truck was mad. You know what I'm saying? So she finally ended up contacting him at work.
This is all the same day and the same incident?
No, this is a different, oh yeah, when I got pulled over, yeah. So she contacted him at work. He was like, I just want to talk to her, and I told the police no. And then she's like, ma'am, just talk to him. And she gave me her phone. She called from her cell phone. So he was like, where are you? I just want to see you. And I was like, I can't do it. I gave her the phone back. And then she was like, sir, talk to her. Do not be aggressive with her. She said, because she said, from my lens, you're harassing her. And you filed a false police report. And then he got back home. He was like, well, we can go and change the title and da-da-da-da. I was like, okay, well, I'll call you. We'll talk later or whatever. Finally, a week or two later, after he got done playing games, because then, I don't know where the title went and this, that, and the third. A week or two after that, we went and got the title finally changed. 2 weeks after that, I have brand new plates on my car, registered in LaTanya Darden's name, my name. I'm coming down Yates. Soon as I hit 81st Street, Eccleston Park, I make a left. The police car just started following me from Yates all the way here till I turned into my garage. 2 police cars, 3 police cars. When I turned in the alley, here's one coming from this way. Girl, I was just like, I'm not pissed. I'm like, where they going? They must be going the same way because I don't know what they fucking. I wasn't even thinking they was talking to me, but because I'm a nigga, because I'm a nigga. I watch all my mirrors all the time. I just always been that way. I'm watching this, and this all the time. So I'm like, damn, where they going? Who they finna get? I turned in that alley. I hit my garage door opener. Soon as I turned to go into the garage, woo! Cars from everywhere surrounded the whole garage, jumped out, and I parked and I jumped out the truck, and I was like, are y'all about to rape me? I just started.
What is wrong with
Don't touch me! Are y'all about to rape me, bro? Dead ass. Because what y'all following me for? Your car was reported stolen. How? And the crazy part about it was the plates that was reported stolen was sitting in a box in the garage. The plates that was on my car was my plates registered to my name to this address, and it got silent.
So when we get finished, about Rome burning. Rome is burning. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But what do we do when the embers are simmering, so that we don't have to deal with this again? Because, starting with coronavirus, starting with the Rona, it was a way for us to see how disconnected we were, but how much we long to be connected. Even those of us who are introverts, like I like people a lot, but I really don't all the time. Like I like them like some of the time, but like not all the time. And so it's just a matter of seeing, like, these things are happening for us to see the true condition. So I remember, like, because we'll be talking all day long, but I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine that's a Republican, and I love her. She's a black girl. And so I remember her saying that she believed that Trump was God's choice. So I listened to her, and she actually, I know that she hears from God, like it's not in her imaginations, and that could very well have been what she heard. So when I look at what's happening now, who else would have been in here where we could see what really was bubbling under the surface? Like Trump being in office was like sending somebody through an MRI machine.
I'm glad he's in there to expose.
But in her mind, she was thinking that just because he's a businessman and so on and so forth. No. So when I look at what's happening, everything that's being made aware, because we would have been walking around, we wouldn't have thought that it was sweet, but we never would have thought that it was as bad as it is. I didn't think, I knew it was bad. I didn't know that it was as bad as it is. Not just with the police. I'm talking about just with
regular
racial.
Racial tension.
And mind you, just let me put this out here. If I see a woman disrespect a black man, the way that I've seen these women on these videos disrespect black men, I wouldn't mind my business. I would say something. I would have to say something, because I wouldn't want him to say nothing. One, they're going to respond to us different anyway, because in their minds, they know that a black woman is going to say what she's going to say. It's the fuck I said.
I said what I said.
But anyway, it's just one of those things that he's in office to as a means to an end. So to say that he wasn't God's choice, I never disputed that, because whatever God intended to transpire, if this is it, is to bring the ugly out. It's to bring the rest of the ugly out so that he can fix it. Even with Corona, the deaths that have transpired or that have happened because of the coronavirus are terrible. However, the love is so much greater in the compassion that we see. And so the Bible says, even when I would do good, evil is always present. So here we are trying to love on one another, help our neighbors, loving our neighbors as ourselves in a better way than we were before Corona, and now this. So we had so much love, and now with so much hate. And even still, the hate is not as great as the love that we've seen, because we can't say that the love ain't there. You know, I've gotten help from, and I've seen, and I have helped people who are not the same races, you know, who are not black. I've seen it so much. We see the acts of kindness so much, but the enemy, and I'm talking about the principalities, and I talked about this earlier today, about the breastplate of righteousness, about what it is that God has called us to do. Like the enemy, we're not wrestling against people for real. It's principalities and it's the rulers of this age that are really our enemy. And so the Bible tells us that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty for the pulling down of strongholds. That's to say that if we're fighting against a spiritual enemy, we can't fight that enemy with a knife, or else we would stab him and shoot him and kill him dead. But we cannot do that because it's not a physical enemy. And the only way we can fight him is with the word of God and with the things that we need to do in the spirit. Because it's two different enemies that we're fighting, and we are absolutely at war with this enemy. But all this thing, before this happened, all of the images that we've seen, we haven't seen none of this. None of this. Like we wasn't seeing nobody's, even the murders in the city were at such a minimal. And then all it was just like, just a little match and a little, and Rome is burning. It's so crazy. But we have to come up with some solutions. So the solution for that one thing that has been simmering as an undercurrent for a very long time, that's the solution. Other people may have solutions, but that's the solution specific to the police department. So now while we're doing all this, we still gotta fight little Ronnie Rome. We still gotta fight that. So now, but the good thing about it is, it's the people against the police instead of the people against the people. So that's still unity building. I know it's bad. I know that the buildings are burning. They're gonna get their money back.
They're gonna get their money back. And that's the problem that
but the people being unified, I'm seeing white people, and so I'm still seeing the love bubble up, which it might not have been this way if Corona had not happened first. Yeah. And now white people are like, hold on, this is my brother and sister, because this is the first time we've had like outrage over police brutality. I'm talking about throughout the cities, but now our Caucasian counterparts are like, okay, now that's bogus as hell. And what it's doing is making them look back at all the other stuff to reassess their position. That's all we ever wanted. Yeah. This is the means to an end for sure.
But they got the power. That's what they don't understand, because we've always put, we have this thing where white is right. We don't feel that way. Some people do in business, but we don't feel that way. But society feels that way. So all we need them to do is to stand up and speak and say, hey.
And that's what I see them doing, and that gets me excited. Thank you. That gets me excited. This Ice Mountain, y'all. Ice Mountain water. I would have drank it if it was from Aldi's. It didn't matter. Ice Mountain is good alone. I wouldn't know.
I got the other one.
Oh, this product placement.
No, they ain't paying us.
This could be anybody. Product placement. But yeah. So, but anyway, but so just get that, drilling down to solutions. You don't have to watch so much video. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
We get so chatty.
Is it still running, Kenny? I just want to make sure it's still running. No, that's fine. No, that's fine.
So, but we have to come up with solutions like things that we can do, things that could be done, things they can do. Because I can't keep telling my son to be scared of the police. Like I can't. First of all, my big boy, you know, he has respect in him, but he a man. Like, you know, the police pulled him over, and he just was like, yeah. So Mom, I just asked him, like, yeah, I understand it, but why did you pull me over?
What?
Because, but it's certain things that you probably have to take this piece out and then put it like in another spot. But it's certain things that he knew to do when my son was 19. He got a job at the steel mill. Monty, he got a job at the steel mill. Coming from Chicago Heights, because we lived in the city at the time, he would come from Chicago Heights at the steel mill to come home. So driving from Chicago Heights through Fort Heights, he said, no, Mom, every day I just play Maroon 5 until I get to the expressway. Then I bumped my little dirt and J. Cole. And I understood why. If I said to anybody without telling them why, like they would understand why. He's like, no, I just play Maroon 5 all the way up, or I listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers until I get on the expressway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's 19, he shouldn't fucking have to know that.
Right.
But he knows, and
as soon as they hear the bass drop, it's gonna be a problem.
That's conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
I swear, my son is conditioned to get them people off of him. So in his mind, if I've done everything I could think to do to stop y'all from bothering me, why are you bothering me? He makes sure that he has on his work. He don't do it now, but like when he first started working, because now he's a diesel mechanic, he'll make sure he got on his work clothes. Like, he has to have this appearance. He has to look like he ain't on shit, just for the opportunity to get bypassed for being on shit. And I know they pull up on him and they look at him and they see, oh, he got on his work clothes. Which is why a lot of guys that we know that hustle, they would wear
the same shit.
Yeah, that's why they wear dickies all the time. Like, ain't nobody dumb, we know. However, it's unfortunate, but it's unfortunate. But these are ways that our kids are conditioned, like, so they can make it home. Like, all they're trying to do is just decrease the probability of bothering me.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, but it's crazy and it's unfortunate. But these are things that we have to tell them. Like, you ain't never had to tell your baby to take his hood off. And they're like, why? It's a hoodie.
It's cold outside.
It's cold outside. But I thank God, even now, that He's kept us all, because He didn't have to, and it's tough. And I don't hate the police, but I do hate the principality that hovers over that, their way of interacting with the community and the way that they're trained, because the conditioning inside, I promise you, conditioning is such a big thing. I'm sure that I'm getting ready to have to go and read about conditioning, because I got class, and I took some classes for the summer too, because I just want to wrap this up. I'll be done next year. But it's so interesting to see the way that they're conditioned as a unit, because when you know that they're wrong, you can't sit there and act like they're not wrong. Yeah. Like you just can't do that. At the very least, leave. I'm talking about, if you can't do nothing else, at least leave.
Well, what's the new chief name? The new police chief?
The one that's like him?
Yeah.
Love Cole.
I heard when they did his induction, he was speaking about his background. And his son was murdered by the police. But his son murdered someone. So I felt like he's a black man whose son committed a crime and was murdered by the police. I think that he's going to bring something different to the city of Chicago, because he has both perspectives.
His son murdered somebody?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the first I was like, wow. Wow.
Well, but I was just like, and so me, because I always fall in love with the underdog. Like, oh my God, how can I fix this? That's me. Like, oh my God, he has a story. Now, how can I get in there and we can make this man great? And that was the first thing that popped in my mind. Like, oh my God, do I want to work for him? These are, for real. Like, I always find these men that I know can be great, and I just want to dive in and make them greater. Like, what's up? Like, I love that, because I think it's that thing in me that wants strong black men. Because the only way we're going to have strong black women is if we have strong black men leading us. And a lot of us fall to the wayside because we don't have a strong black man. So when I see it in their chest and in their eyes, and they may not be there yet, but I can see the potential in it. I just want to latch on to it and be like, come on, babe, what can we do? What you need? Let me listen to your story. Da, 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 da. And I've fallen for that shit a lot of times.
You don't stop.
Baby.
Oh, I can't deal.
I didn't feel trying to, because men know when you deserve a certain thing. And they may not necessarily be ready to go into where they need to be, but they know what they need to say to keep you holding on. Like, I gotta pretend to be this person so I can keep her. But that's a whole nother story. We'll get into that later. But yeah, but anyways, the new police chief, yes. Yes, I think he's gonna be a great thing. I think he's gonna come in, I hope, because he has those two different perspectives going on, that he's gonna come in and he's gonna make some changes. And it has to start with reconditioning the police department, and even the new ones coming, especially the new ones coming in.
I'm telling you, let the matrix be based on performance, and that has to be a part of their evaluation. Who did y'all fuck up? How much do we have to pay?
Because if you look at dude's track record that killed, what's the guy's name? What's the police officer name? No, the police officer name. Juvan.
CHAUV.
He had so many marks on him from police brutality.
So listen.
And he's still working.
From the first or second time, bro. You know how many pay decreases they would have gotten if they used my matrix? They'd have whooped his ass a long time ago.
Yeah.
No, like but you see what I'm saying? Like,
that's just like the one who shot Laquan. He had so many incidents just over here on this side of town. Over here, right over this. This used to be his hood.
I'm telling you, like if there was a financial recourse, that would definitely impact the how they move, how they respond, the way they will police each other.
We need more Officer Norman. Do you follow him on Instagram?
Mm-mm.
He's a white cop, but he's down south.
Oh, I know you're talking about him.
He's into community policing. You know, he's really into it. We need more.
He does there what you did where you were. You know what I mean? Like when you were in the county. You have to.
When you were at the county. You have to know, and I tell this even when I had a staff. You have to know your audience. You have to know who you're dealing with. You can't go in and they know more. You have to know everyone that's sitting out in their audience, so you can give everyone in their audience something that they need. You got to know your community. Whatever community you're policing, you got to know who all on this block. You got to know what gangs on this block, who this, that, and the third. But you got to also know how to go in and finesse them. Kick it with them. Have them come over there and hang out. They should be hanging out on the police cars and everybody. Like, that's my vision of how police officers should be. Like, come on now. If you should be able to.
If you take their gun away, I swear to you, if just for a month, if you made it where they had a taser but no guns, I wonder just even if they use like one demographic. Like just one geographic area, and just have those police officers just do it in phases. One, build rapport where they still got the gun, and then go back out and interact with the community where they still have their guns, and then like the next time, half of them have their guns, and then the next time nobody have a gun, just to see. Because the biggest thing is that we don't trust them. Yeah. I don't. The reason why I'm still here is because I don't fucking trust you. I don't trust you. Mm-hmm. My big boy had an incident when he around the same time he was working at the steel mill, which I used to always tell them back to the exercise. You don't listen, but I used to always tell them, you don't when you at work, you work second shift, you come home at 11 o'clock. You don't know what the boys on the block have been doing all day while you at work, clocked in, cutting steel. You come home this one day, give a boy a ride. He was coming up 87, and he gives a friend of his a ride to the block because he saw them right on 87 in Exchange at that liquor store. So he was like, bro, and they're like, bro. He get in the car. He let them off a block before our block. And he go and whip the block, the police. It's 5 or 6 police cars after. I don't know what made me go outside, but my son is on the corner. This is the very day that Ferguson was in flames. Oh, wow. And I was like, And so I break down the block, and he was like, Mom. So I'm like, fuck that. What? So I'm saying my shit. He was like, Mom. But I see him like, he defending himself. He's just saying, hold on. He's still talking. He's talking his ass off. So I want to tell him, whatever you saying, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. He was like, Mom, I got this. So I'm talking to him like 3 houses from the corner. They wouldn't let me get no closer, but I was still trying to keep coming closer. But
run on that ass.
But he telling me like, no, Mom, wait. And I'm like, fuck, wait. He was like, wait. Then and so I'm like, if I keep going, that's gonna make them respond to him a different way, because before I started coming, like they were not aggressive towards him, but all it takes is for one of them, put a pin right here. It bothers me when I'm watching them in their videos and they be like, get on the ground, put the gun down. And the person that's on the ground is like, I don't have a gun, both my hands are behind my back, like, I don't have a gun, I'm laying on the ground. Put the gun down, you better not move, you better stop squatting. I'm not squatting, sir, I'm laying down. You better not move your elbow again. My elbow is behind my back, my elbow's not moving, sir. Everything that they're saying, they're conditioning their brains to respond to what they're saying, even though it's not happening.
Yep.
Simulation, condition.
Yep.
Okay. So I was concerned, so take the pen out. I was concerned that if I keep moving, it was going to activate some of that shit in one of them. But I never knew what happened. I never knew what they were doing. They took my boy into the police station for 3 days. Would not let me see him, would not let me talk to him, would not tell me where he was.
For
3 days. Because one of the boys that he had in his car had just robbed somebody in the liquor store, but he didn't actually rob the person. He dropped his money on the ground. A hype star picked it up. The boy go back in there like, nah, nigga, you got my money. The boy had just got out of jail like some weeks before, and the boy had a pack that he was serving so he could re-up and get his own money. And my boy just saw them and was giving them a ride from the store. My boy was with them when he went back in and made the hype check and emptied the hype pockets out and took the money that was his own money. So when the police came, the hype said that dude Rod told them what happened. So they had my boy jammed up for armed robbery, potential armed robbery.
Wow.
And they were like, he was like, it wasn't him. So my son felt the reason why he was yapping is because he was like, they can't say it was me because it wasn't me. But shut the fuck up! I just kept saying, don't say nothing. And he was so when he came home 3 days later, he was like, Mom, I just kept telling him. He kept telling them what happened, and so but they were able to look at his background, look at his job. So you done kept this boy. He's 19, got a good ass job. You got him jammed up for 3 days. He done missed work for 3 days. They impounded his car because they found weed, and that was it. But like a week later, he was able to go and get him a new car. So that worked out for him. But the fact of the matter is still the way that it happened and the way that they're conditioned, the things that we say, like before that ever happened, I got a drill, like, you know, I'm hood as hell. I got a drill, like, look, if you go outside, when you see them niggas, don't let none of them niggas in your car. I know that you like to go down Lakeshore Drive because you were raised to go down Lakeshore Drive where you need to clear your mind, plus it's a whole different environment. Cool, do it. Like, probably at the time we ain't had no air at home, like you down Lakeshore Drive, do your thing. But you can't take them niggas with you because you will take them to a different space and they not know what to do. You can't control them. Yeah. Or y'all leave and then you come back because you don't know what he was doing all day long. Like, bro, you can't do that. You need some friends. You got cousins who gonna tell you what they've been doing all day. You know what I mean? So, so this is like a condition, like just a checklist of stuff. You better not let the niggas in your car. You better not move. He still.
Does you still be guilty by association?
He still would not listen. Takes me back to that exercise that we talked about 2 hours ago when we first started this chat. Y'all just don't listen. Well, what are you worried about? I do listen, but you telling me to not have friends, and you know, but these are my friends. Like, who else am I supposed to socialize with? Like, I'm supposed to not socialize with nobody. No, but you don't know what they do every day, and I am afraid. So it's still rooted in fear that I just deny, but I'm just afraid that it's gonna break bad, and you're not gonna have control over what happens. So all we can do is be on the offense and try to stop you from being in those situations in the first place.
Yeah.
So, but it's still like the things that we condition them to do to not, but we can't really adequately condition them because the police gonna do what they want to do anyway when they own that. They're not all on that. That would be a lie. You know, they're all not like that. However, you see my vernacular done broke all the way down. However, yeah, but you just can kind of see the dynamic, and the conditioning is a big deal. PTSD is a big deal. We do have some solutions. We can build off those solutions. We can continue to exchange dialogue. But you and I talking is one thing. You having this platform, it's a whole different thing. Podcasts are cool and they're interactive, so people will at some point get a chance to also add to this dialogue in the comment section. Once you post it on your social media, it's just we still have to be solutionists. You know, our pastor
we
is
call
big on
it in our
solutions.
program, in our what is the name of that program we use? Solutionaries. But and then for me, creating the RAIN Project, which now formed into a 501c3, 501c3. Did I say that right? Yeah. My whole premise is to work with the youth and the young adults, and for those that decide they're not going to college. College is not for everyone.
Sure.
So I want to work with them to get them ready for the next steps in their life. We're going to work on what are those innate, wonderful things you have inside of you that we can build into something to make you money, make you a productive citizen. Who can I match you up with in this city that's already doing what it do? And work on those, build skills up in you, and have you become an entrepreneur.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, so those are some of the things, and that comes with mentorship. It comes with counseling,
And
social,
resources.
emotional. Yeah, it's going to come with all of that the right way, because I've worked with so many different organizations that all they wanted to do was just have kids write their names down on a sheet of paper, their birth date, and where they live, and not really do the work for them. I want to actually do the work. I want to actually match them with some skills. I want to actually get them out here. I want them to form companies and things like that. I really want to do the work that we're supposed to be doing.
So I am one of the partners with Martha, which is an organization that's been around for years in Illinois, and Miss Chippy Gourmet Cookies is a part of their CYEP program, which gives opportunities for young people to work with Miss Chippy, and they get paid to do it. But in the process, I'm able to mentor them. So I show them different things about entrepreneurship, starting a business, building out what's on the inside of you, which is the whole reason why I started my company in the first place. And it's such a big deal because I started off with 4 people, and they'll be done in July. So I think I can have up to 10 youth in the program, and I'm just one of the partners. But it's so good to be a part of an organization where I'm able to exercise those other skills and to be a benefit to the community. And I'm saying this because it's something that once you continue to build out, like it would be good to have that be a part of where you establish a footprint, because I'm sure that there is room for what it is that you're trying to do for the kids who are exiting that program, the CYEP program, or for the people who may be too old for it, like the 25-year-olds, because the program is from 16 to 24.
Yeah, it's usually 23 or 24.
So, I mean, it's just something that, because we're talking about it, that I want to bring to your attention, because I'm already a partner, but the liaison that I have there, you know, I'm sure will be able to give you some guidance and get you up and going when you're ready.
Oh, that sounds good. Anything
Y'all
else
just thought
you
I was
wanna-
hood. No, it sounds a little bit. A little bit going on.
Anything else you want to add to this before we end, Miss Nicole?
God had a blessing.
Did
to-
we
you gotta
even-
talk about
we
cuss
even-
words. You gotta make sure that you bleep all our cuss words.
No, we need all the cuss
She's gonna
words.
bleep the cuss words. Kenny,
We need all
bleep the cuss words.
the cuss words. We're gonna bleep addresses.
He said beep.
We're gonna bleep out all the addresses, but
Hey,
other than that. But we didn't even introduce ourselves. Crazy part. LaTanya Darden, soul sister number one, lover of finer things in life, love to shop, design clothing, buy shoes and purses. Dun-dun-dun.
She is the owner of Bags by L. Are you kidding? Like, that's a big deal.
I am the owner of Bags by L. You are absolutely right. And I love it. And by L, Bags by L, I'm changing it around a little bit. Have some legal things going on with the L because of L magazines and things like that. So, you know, for some reason, these companies have been having a lot of downtime, and now they can go through and start looking to see who's using their names. I see they're coming at a lot of small businesses for using some form of their name. So we'll see how long that will stick. But yes, I design clothes, I make bags, I do printing for different companies, I sing a little, I dance a lot, and I talk a lot of shit. That's what I'm known for. But I'm sweet as pie, and I give you anything, as long as you don't lie.
My name is Nicole Johnson. I am the owner and CEO of Miss Chippy Gourmet Cookies. We offer a variety of flavors of gourmet cookies that satisfy the palate, that put you in a position to understand that you have had an entire experience. And my motto is, if the road to greatness has to be paved one cookie crumb at a time, then so be it. I did not start this business because I had a passion for baking per se. It's just that I know that my hands are gifted. I know God gifted my hands to create gourmet pastries, and my niche is cookies. I do a little bit of cupcakes. That's a whole different venture that we're moving into, but there's merchandising involved and so on and so forth. The thing about it is I'm actually a creative strategist. That's what I've done for years and years. That is what I'm the most passionate about. And my company is up under the umbrella of I Gig Daily, and I cannot wait to continue to move in that space where I'm doing more consulting than I am baking. But baking is how we eat now. You know, baking is what's doing it. It's opening a lot of doors. And the primary reason why I chose to build out Miss Chippy Gourmet Cookies is because when I go to someone who owns a company or an organization, whether it's a startup or a company that's been around for a very long time, and when I tell them that if you give me your mustard seed of an idea, I am gifted to show you what's on the inside of that mustard seed, and then we'll unpack it and build it out. That is a gift that I have. It's not something that I had to cultivate. It is a gift that I have. And the Bible tells us that our gifts will make room for us and put us in the companies of great men. It just so happens that I'm able to do that by way of Miss Chippy Gourmet Cookies. It has opened many doors. It will continue to do so, and I'm so grateful for it. But that is what I do. And I write. You know, I stop at bars. Yeah. I'm not a shopaholic to the degree that LaTanya Darden is, but I can identify some really decent pieces, and I ain't shit on Darden. Like, that's what she do. She's been doing it since she was an itty bitty. I just like, it's a pastime for me. That's her passion in her life, which is a good thing. So she has a really good eye in that regard. But that's all that I do. I bake cookies and build stuff. Got to start with the empty bowl, and every good project starts from nothing. Like, it starts from nothing. Every good idea, there's no such thing as a dumb idea. Underdeveloped ideas, yes. No such thing as a dumb idea. Yeah, but that's who I am. I'm a bunch of other stuff, but not now.
No, not now.
You're so funny. I appreciate you. I didn't play my mama lottery. She goes, yeah.
Did she win or lose?
I don't know. I didn't play it. I was stuck here talking smack.
Oh.